Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today in this gorgeous Thursday afternoon. I'm in Cork. Eddie, where are you?
Westmead.
And the sun is shining, so I really appreciate anyone that is making the effort of being inside in our webinar. So the episode of today is your marketing works. It's working, but why you are still not seeing sales growth. So my name is Susana Marambio. I'm the co-owner of BBCS Business Advisors, and we help businesses to accelerate their growth by providing them with the structure, the knowledge, and the tool that they need to achieve their goals. So this session is being recorded and is streamed live in LinkedIn. The session will take around 45 minutes. We will have time to make questions. You can pop your questions in the chat and we will try to answer immediately. If not, there is time at the end as well for ask your questions. We launched these collaboration sessions in 2023. The idea it is answer questions and challenges that business owners have by business owners. And at the end of the time that we finish the session, you will always come home with some practical tips to help you to implement immediately. So today, as I said, it is all about, we always talk about, when we talk about growth, we talk about marketing and how to make our marketing work. But what happens when marketing is working and actually you don't see the results? So over the past 4 years, we have worked with many business owners. And one of the things that we do in order to identify the best growth strategies is we carry out a very in-depth marketing audit. So this is the best way that to understand what's working, what's not working, and most importantly, where the key opportunities lie. A recurrent challenge that we have seen is this misalignment between sales, marketing, and customer experience. Issues like inconsistent follow-up, forgetting about past clients, or even the service quality being uneven, so that every different customers receive different quality on customer service. All that is draining your budget because although marketing strategies will actually work, you are still not making the most out of it. Research has shown that businesses that bring these three functions together into one strategy will achieve higher conversion rates, a stronger customer loyalty, and improve operational efficiencies. So that's why I'm very excited to have here our guest today. Eddie Stack is Customer Experience Director at Inside Six Ireland. With over 40 years of practical business experience, he's passionate about helping business owners to deliver outstanding customer experiences. His expertise spans business training, web development, and designing tailored strategies to improve customer experience and drive measurable results. So Eddie, welcome and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Susanna. Thanks for the opportunity.
So as usual, I like to start to try to understand a little bit about your journey and how did you, well, in those 40 years, how you end up in the world of customer experience? Do you want to share a little bit?
Yes, thanks. Delighted to be here. 40 years. I am not going to go through 40 years. We only have an hour here today. So I'll go back to 1998 when I was not long after coming back from working in France. So from then on, I worked in France, worked in London in the 80s and 90s in many different businesses. But in 1998, I decided I wanted to take a different track in my life, and I went back to college, and I did a diploma in IT and a diploma in teaching back then. So I spent a few years then going around the big corporates like Intel, Hewlett Packards, and so on, teaching IT to some of the staff there. Ended up doing a little bit of web development teaching and liked that so much that I started a web development course in 23. Joined BNI in 2008, and if you think of web development back in 2003, this was really new at the time. So joined BNI in 2008, and in 2014 then I got an opportunity to become the executive director, which is the franchise holder for BNI Dublin and the northeast of Ireland. So through that, I worked closely with thousands of business owners and key team members, which led me down the road of customer experience because I had to deal with so many different people of different business levels and so on that it just interested me so much. To 2023, I decided again it was time for another change. So I moved out of the B&I franchise and went back to university or UCD, Professional Academy, did a diploma in customer experience and customer behavior. And in 2024, I was lucky enough to be able to get the franchise for Insight 6 for Ireland. So, and the journey goes on from there. So that's very quick and short.
That's quite a life, actually. It is yeah, this is the depth of information and all those businesses. It's just incredible. So I'm very straightforward because I know people listen to it. They don't really have too much time. So first of all, let's clarify what is customer experience and how it is different from customer service or customer satisfaction.
Well, customer service it is often confused, and when I often tell people I'm involved in customer experience, they immediately think customer service. It's confused in a lot of businesses. Customer service is all about reaction, so you're reacting to somebody has bought a product or a service, and maybe they've got a little issue with it, and you've got to help them through the customer service. I'm sure we've all phoned one of our phone providers or something at one point looking for customer service. Customer satisfaction is after we've done a sale, then we go and try and find out if the customer was happy, are they satisfied, were they given a good service through all of that, and so on. And customer experience is completely different. It is all about being proactive. It's about putting the plan in place before somebody even comes looking for your product or service. That they find all these touch points that bring you to the sale at the end. And it's often forgotten about in marketing. So people go off, they market through whatever channels they market with, and then the potential customer might come in and connect and not have a great experience from the start. So everyone has a customer experience, good, bad, or indifferent. Yeah.
That's a very good clarification. One of the things that I normally will say to businesses when they put customer service as something very good to put in their website, for example. And I said, but do you realize that customer service happens when actually something is not working? That's why people call you. People don't want to call you.
Yeah.
And happy that you have a good customer service, but people don't want to deal with you to deal with your customer service. So, yeah. Okay, why do many business owners ignore the customer experience when they are trying to grow their sales? So why they don't consider it?
A lot of businesses work with marketing companies who obviously do an amazing job in helping them to get potential customers, get the leads, and so on. But maybe they haven't looked at what the customer journey is like. So what is the customer journey? I need a product or a service. I go on the web. What is the social media like? What are the websites like? If I phone the company, what is the reception I get like? We often ask in our mystery shopping, did the person answer the phone with a smile? Okay, you can't see them, but we know if they had a smile on their face or not. And I don't know why so many customers don't, or so many businesses don't pay attention to this. The touch points, we've a huge amount of touch points when a customer is connecting with us. And businesses don't, I suppose they often go and maybe say, oh, let's create a customer journey map. They create it themselves without asking the customer. So it's a hard one to answer. Why did they ignore it? I don't know. Yeah.
So I think just for people who the customer journey is when you actually look at the customer from the moment that they are aware about your business until they actually have the experience, and depends on your service or products, it is how many times that journey happens.
Yeah.
And touch points are the different times that the customer will be in contact with you. So basically, if you have a retail store and online sales and a social media presence, you already have brought 3 ones. If you go to a networking event, you have another one, of course. And so that it's when every time that your customer or potential customer is in contact with your brand.
Yeah.
So not only in person, but the brand in itself. So how can a business actually tell if their poor customer experience is what holding them back? So, okay, I got a lot of leads and I still don't get customers. I'm not increasing my revenue, but how do I know that it is actually that?
Well, any business that is spending money on marketing and making an effort to market, they're obviously going to have to measure their conversion rates. And maybe last year our conversion rates were 10% higher than they are this year. Is that because we've broken something in the journey? Is there a friction there for the potential customer to get them across the line? Some of the tools we use to help businesses with that is we can help them conduct unbiased mystery shopping. So what's unbiased? We often hear the term mystery shopping, and it's like this man or woman in a trench coat going in with a magnifying glass into, we often see that image into a shop. We send in real people to take a snapshot of what the experience was like on the day, to see if it is retail, if it's online or web. We do quite a few mystery shops over the phone to try and measure and uncover those hidden friction points that businesses often don't think that they have, you know. Analyzing customer feedback. A lot of businesses are afraid of customer feedback. Oh, what if they give us bad feedback? Bad feedback is a fantastic tool to help us improve things. Yeah.
Yeah, bad feedback is good news when you actually know about it. If you don't know about it, they don't reduce the bad feedback. You actually don't know about it.
Yeah.
So actually what I used to do when my corporate time, I will go to sit down, for example, to the contact center, and I'll sit down there just to listen what people are actually saying about products, how they are talking to customers. It's not the intention be judgmental, because normally what happens is that the people on the phone have so much information that actually is impossible to provide everything to the customer. But it helps us to actually, for us to realize, the senior management to realize how much stuff they have and how we can provide tools to help them. So it wasn't ever a judgment against the agent. It was like, we as a senior management, what can we do to make their life easier, to provide a better customer experience? So we're aware now, as a business owner, we're aware that it maybe is our customer experience that it has gaps. So what should they be looking at? So,
Well,
or the early signs that the customers are dropping because of that.
If it's online, it could be high abandoned shopping carts. So we see a lot of shopping carts. We put, and I've done it myself, put products in shopping carts, and then you think, oh, give me an hour to think about that, and then I go off and I change my mind, or I might go somewhere else to buy the same product. And it's not always overpriced. Sometimes it's ease of use on a website. One of the ones that I look at quite a lot is decreasing repeated orders. And I have a little story to tell on this one. It's myself. For the last 4 years, I've been buying a product. I haven't been making the company rich, but I've been buying a product from a company for 4 years now. It's probably spending €400-500 a year on it. The products range in price, but one particular order came in January, and there was a product missing, and it was €12. And I contacted the company, and let's just say the experience wasn't great, to the point where the last email from the representative, who didn't name themselves in the emails, just signed off with the company name, said to me, I don't think I can explain this any further, but we're not helping you with this.
Wow.
Left it at that.
Indeed,
But now I have to find a new supplier for my product.
exactly. Indeed, you don't even think twice with the kind of answer like that.
Yeah.
So which is small or overlooked touch point, so we agree that touch point is the time that your brand is in touch with customers, can have the biggest impact on the customer perception, because perception is reality in the eyes of the person who experiences it. So what will be this kind of very overlooked touch point that can have a biggest impact in the customer perception?
I think there's several of them, but I think the most important one is the speed of response. The speed of response to anything at all, be it customer service at the end of a journey, or be it somebody sends in an inquiry to your business. And I've again more stories on that we might touch in a while, but and I often ask this question when I'm with groups, is that how fast should somebody respond? If somebody sends in an inquiry through a web form on your website, how fast should they respond? Typically, to me, it should be within an hour, 2 hours, if at all possible. If it's within business working hours, obviously, definitely within 24 hours. But from our experience in mystery shopping, we've often seen this go into 3-4 days, and sometimes, and quite a lot actually, not at all. They don't follow up. Smooth checkout processes on if we're buying products online, they're really important. Personalized greetings. Again, I've seen so many where names are not used through conversations, and we would ask that in our mystery shopping as well. Did the person use your name throughout the whole conversation? And most of the time it's reasonably good, but sometimes it's a no.
Yeah, for me, there is one thing that I actually, and obviously I probably am showing my age here. So when I go to any, so this is physical, it could be a shop, it could be a coffee, it could be a hotel. It is when you arrive to the person that's supposed to be, will support you, help you, and they are on the phone and they do this. Sorry, women, I'm talking, I'm on the phone, so wait. And it's like, shouldn't you actually, someone train you to say, give me a second, excuse me, I will be with you in a minute.
Yep.
And it's just, for me, it's just that moment, the moment that someone turn around or ignore me, it's like, it's already, and it is very simple to adjust, but many, many, many businesses, especially retail, hospitality, you are driving people, you want people to go to see you.
Yeah.
If I am in there, it's because I didn't want to use digital tools. Otherwise, guess, I know that you can buy the stuff online. I know that I can book it online. So for me, that is one of those very, very small details that could make a big difference in the customer experience.
Yeah.
So now, and you mentioned this in the previous question. So it's something that we are both very, very passionate about it. And it is this big missed opportunity that is the follow-up. So why do so many professional services, trade, companies in general, large, small, accountants, solicitors, struggle with consistent follow-up?
That's a really good question. So first of all, I'll mention a professional services journey, customer journey study that we've done there. It was published there about probably 4 weeks ago now. If anyone wants to see it, go to my LinkedIn, have a look at about 2 or 3 posts back. There's a link there to download it. So basically what we did with that is we surveyed, mystery shopped 219 companies across Ireland and the UK, legal, accounting, financial advisors and property sector. And the results were shocking, I have to say. And we're working with some of those at the moment to see if we can help fix them. Lack of a clear process was one that came up. So in one case, a web form was sent in through what the partner in the company said was a very expensive website that they spent money on. The form went in through the website and there was no response within 5 days. When I went to the partner on this, showed it to him, he brought it back to the company and came back to me and said the receptionist said they were never trained to forward it on to somebody. Simple as that. And not only that, but found 6 more genuine ones that were not forwarded on to anybody either. So lack of clear process is definitely one. Time constraints, a lot of people in the professional sector are under pressure, they're busy and so on. But I think one of the ones is that you can have fantastic people in the professional sector, let's say in legal or accounting or whatever, any of those sectors, fantastic people at what they do. However, they were never trained to be salespeople. So they have a fear of being pushy with potential clients. So we do find that a lot. They'll talk to people, they'll give them fantastic information, but they'll never follow up or ask them for the business. So, and again, you spend all this money in marketing and you don't ask for the business after.
That's interesting. So you mentioned that about the time, and obviously I'm a digital advisor, and so I'm trying automations and digitalization and so on. And the key thing for me is you introduce automation for improve the life of your customers or improve the lives of your employees. If neither of them are benefiting, actually it's going to jeopardize the relationship with either of them. So that's something to keep in mind always. But can too much automation in the process sometimes work against the company?
Again, we are in an automated world, and particularly with AI and everything now at the moment is fantastic. However, people buy from people. We've always heard that term over my working lifetime anyway. People buy from people, and while automation is useful and it definitely has its place in business these days, but too much can definitely overdo it. It's like surveys. We do surveys, customer surveys, and if a survey comes up and you're into the fifth question and sixth question and there's no indication as to when it's going to stop, how many times have I X'd out of that and said, okay, that's enough. I have enough of that. So automation, how limited use. We do have to use it, but we do need to limit it and try and personalize it as much as possible and not make it look too automated. Yeah.
Yeah, not for the sake of it, it's just to facilitate the interaction more than actually try to replace, especially depending on the type of customer that you are taking care of. So, and going back to the follow-ups, I have two questions more. One, it is, what are some internal habits or beliefs to stop teams from following up well? So you mentioned one already, that in general, solicitors or accountants will be not salespeople, therefore they don't know how to follow up. Which other internal habits or beliefs are stopping teams from doing it? Because there is a research, and it's probably a little bit old now. It was from the 2018 or something, and it still showed that salespeople will, or sales in general, will not follow up more than once or twice, while 80% of the sales will happen after 6 touch points, six times contacting the person. So which other beliefs stop people to do the follow-ups?
Again, being over intrusive with people, being pushy, that's one. Lack of clear follow-up processes is something that we're finding quite a lot. And over-reliance, I mean, you talked there about automation, over-reliance on memory. I'll give you a call tomorrow without putting it in a diary or a CRM system or anything like that. And then tomorrow comes and somebody else is keeping you busy and you forget to follow up and so on. I suppose with the professional services, we do find quite a lot is that about 60% of them will follow up on the initial call. It is actually, if you look at the survey, it's about 67% on average. They will follow up the initial call and they'll talk to somebody, but then it's dropped after that. There is absolutely no follow-up. And I suppose some of the things we train partners and companies and so on to do in this is to first of all ask for permission to follow up so that you don't feel intrusive then when you are doing it. So if I say,
how do you do a permission to follow up? Do you ask, can I stalk you and send you a lot of emails? How do you actually do that?
Yeah, in a lot of cases where if I send somebody a proposal for business, one of my last lines on the email will be, if I don't hear from you by next Monday, I will give you a call, if that's okay. No, nobody ever comes back and says, no, that's not okay. So you are asking for permission at that point to call them back, which means that when I do phone on Monday to find out how they feel about the proposal I sent them, they are not getting an unexpected call, and I don't feel like I'm being intrusive or pushy then.
It's a very good one, actually. So what does an effective follow-up process actually looks like? Probably you will have to give me an example of something, because it probably is just very dependent industry, size of business, and so on. So just pick up.
It is dependent, and I know in a lot of cases when, let's say, when we do a mystery shop to a professional services firm through a web form, we will get an email back. Now, I'm a long time in business, and I know if anybody sends me an email or a web form or anything like that today, they will get a phone call. We've got, okay, we can do automation and we can do emails and do all our tech and everything else, but if I phone somebody, they will often say, "Oh, I wasn't expecting a call from you." That's lovely. Thanks very much. And you can ask them about the weather or their holidays, or you can start to build a relationship, and it's like effective processes. We can go through all different processes, use CRM systems and so on. But I think if we just make the phone call, say hello, how can I help you today? Have you any other questions? And it breaks down a barrier, and I find that it just helps get customers across the line.
So basically, we say in general, instead of just the email confirmation of a request, a phone call, and then use some kind of system to remind you when you said that you will do something. I'll come back to you and stick to the time, isn't it?
Yeah, if you're an SME that can't afford the time or the money to start putting fancy CRM systems in place, what's wrong with Google Calendar? Just to put a reminder in Google Calendar to phone somebody.
Yeah, there's a willingness to do it more than the tool. And that is one of the things that I experience quite a lot, is that people expecting digital transformation to not do anything. And it's like, no, first of all, digital transformation will start with your mindset, because you are willing to do, and then with the tools that you can afford, and in the time scope of time, because you can't really, unless that you stop everything and focus 6 months, I will move everything and change everything. The reality is that you have to implement step by step and change the mind of yourself and the team around it to adapt. Because if it's not broken, why do you want to change it now?
Yes. Yeah.
So that brings me to my other part of, so we talked about the follow-up, and now is the mindset. Because I've seen, and I was saying, the biggest barrier, the assumptions that business owners have. So, and I lived this is in my corporate life and as a small business owner, that things that we are so certain that we know things. So, and then we don't, as you said before, we don't ask customers because we know they want this, they don't want that. So was that something surprising that you have discovered through your mystery shopping work that has really shocked businesses, like business leaders?
I've often thought someday I'll write a book about this, because some of the surprises we get in mystery shopping are just unbelievable. Recent ones there would be we had a mystery shopper going to a hotel to stay for a night. We do most of the bookings over the phone because we're testing the staff rather than the online systems. And it took 17 phone calls to book a room in a 4-star hotel. They got through on the 17th phone call and got their booking. 2 of the phone calls were answered in between by somebody that said, "Sorry, I'm busy checking people out, call me back." So it's just, I mean, a 4-star hotel to not have better processes than that. I mentioned one there about the web form going through, and the staff member not having, never mind the thoughts of, have you not got a bit of cop on, but the staff member not passing it through because they weren't trained to do it. And there are so many instances in this. Yeah.
So what happened to me quite recently, actually, we went to have lunch, work lunch. So it were 2 people, went to this restaurant, coffee place. And because you actually pay attention, you notice that there are 2 different uniforms. Some people were in an apron black and the others white. So one person coming to us with the white apron looked at us and left. and went back to and it's like, hey, we need table for two. Didn't look, just turn around. Second, white apron came the same, went to pick up a menu and left. And I literally started looking myself, am I transparent? What happened here? My colleague was doing the same. Another person waiting there also kind of, what's going on? And then the third white apron came and said, and just came and I stopped her and said, hey, we're trying to get a table, but nobody seems to see us. Oh, no, the lady with the black apron will comment. So I immediately understand that the training was, you don't take customers. There is one person who will take people to the tables, but they forgot to tell them, but you greet and acknowledge anyone that is coming to the.
Yeah. I was in a large retail outlet myself on Friday. There were only 3 customers in there, myself and 2 others, and there were 6 staff there, and I spent almost 10 minutes in the store and not one staff member acknowledged me. Not one. Yeah.
And I'd always go back to, because obviously we do what we learn and how they train us. So if there is not that training, so it's not against the employees. Also, when they don't pick up the phone in a hotel, it's not because people are actually filing their nails or something. It's just they're so busy that someone hasn't done the customer experience as a leadership, and they don't realize that their team are so busy that there is no possible do 2 customer experience at the same time. Either pick up the phone or I am receiving the people. So I think this is the kind of thing that is not to put the experience of the customers dependent of employees, because especially now that we are in a full employment economy, when they get tired, they just move on somewhere else. Customers, there is opportunity to go somewhere else, I'm going somewhere else. So it is the leadership team. They want to have to think different. They have to understand customer experience so that they can give directions to the teams. So I have here, why is the mindset of no news is good news potentially dangerous?
To me, no news is good news. And what I say to that, particularly when we're working with professional services, is that if you have no news for a client, let them know you've no news. Because the one thing is what frustrates customers more than anything else is not hearing from who they're dealing with. So if we're dealing with a professional service and we're waiting on something that is really important to us, it might be so important to the professional service themselves, and we don't hear from them, and we have to start phoning to find out, have you any news on this project? Is there anything going on? And oh no, there's nothing going on yet. Well, if we touch base with a client or a potential client and just say to them, sorry, I know I said I'd come back to you by today, but I don't have any news on that yet. Can you give me another 48 hours and I'll come back to you? No news is good news, as long as we tell people.
Yes. So do you find that many SMEs overrate their own customer experience?
Yes. Yes, and not just SMEs, but even the larger companies. We often go to them and say to them, look, we can do a program of mystery shopping, get a benchmark for you on where your business is today in terms of customer experience and so on. Say, no, we're fine. So we're fantastic. We're amazing. And it's when we do, like for the professional services journey survey we did, when we did that, when we brought the results back to some of them, they were shocked at that. And I remember speaking to one of them before it, because we told him we were going to do it months in advance. And he said, you'll find nothing wrong in my company. There's 2 reports gone back to him that he's really not happy with. Yeah. And they just think they're amazing. I suppose one of the silly terms that I use sometimes is, we'll tell you how ugly your baby is.
Yeah, I do. So I was in a multinational for 10 years, and basically we have customers. They were all SMEs or small medium businesses, but they were basically, we have a forum of businesses that were the kind of people that you could reach out. they will come to focus groups. They will, if you want to introduce a product, you will literally invite them and they will give you feedback and you will know, yes, the product, yes or no. And for all that elements were brilliant because they were literally, we have different industry and depending on what we were introducing, we will go and talk to different cohort and we have all the 13 countries and we will do normally focus group in 4 or 5 countries. So literally, it was brilliant for that. It's that you not often has your customers helping you to shape the products assortment and so on. But we actually, the people who didn't buy from us, the one that came and bought and left, those will be the one that you will ask feedback and do service with. And we will actually spend 5 minutes and we'll give you this, to encourage them to really be honest and answer it, because we knew that if we did those type of service with the people that were so willing, it's like, but they love us. We say that we are great. So we don't want to, well, obviously we want to be great, but we want to hear for the people who don't think that we're great, the people who think that we have a problem, because that's the only way that we are going to be able to improve. So
not enough businesses ask their customers what do they think. Yeah.
Yes, most of don't. So I want to link a little bit the customer experience, because all my working experience, it was always, I tried to change the mind of people thinking that marketing is a pinky fluffy thing that you do when you have money, time, and energy, and the rest of the time we do business. So I work hard on that. SMEs and small businesses is very similar. And customer experience, many times, either people connected to websites with customer experience, or is something that happened for fancy companies and large organizations that have money and enough people to play around with those things. So I want to link customer experience with the business performance. So how is customer experience linked to the performance and the growth of a business?
There have been studies on this. They can be found on Harvard Business Review that you can see. I mean, you get so many people want to grow their business. And I don't know, I'm sure you've heard the term the leaky bucket before. So the leaky bucket, we spend all this money on marketing. We get loads of new customers in. Things seem to be going really, really well until then we find out that as quick as we get one in, there's another one gone out that's maybe only with us 12 months. And in terms of growth and cost and so on, if we can think about this, is that if I market, I spend X amount of money on marketing, I get a new client in, and I make a profit out of those this year, that doesn't equal the amount of money I spend marketing to get them in. So I have no profit from that customer. So it's in year 2, 3, 4, the customer lifetime value that we might start to make a profit from them. However, if we give them a bad experience in year 1, the chances are they're going to go somewhere else. So we've spent that money marketing to get this customer, and now we've made no profit from them. So customer retention, and one of the Harvard Business Studies in customer retention, they say acquiring new customers is typically 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining a customer. And in that, also, if I can remember the figures on this, if we increase customer retention by 5%, they reckon that we can increase our profit anything from 25 to 85%. So yeah. Do we need to go out looking for new customers all the time? Of course we do. However, let's start looking after the ones we have.
Yeah, so one of the strategies I always tell people when they don't have money to do marketing and we want more sales, it is go back to your customers, existing customer, can you sell them more? Yeah. So when a business starts to scale, what do they most often overlook in terms of customer experience? So they're all growth. We are growing, we bring more salespeople, we bring more marketeers, we bring more products. What is the part that they are forgetting about within customer experience?
I suppose what I've seen over the years with that is if we take an SME and they've started out in business and they look after their customers really well and they always stay in touch with them and so on, and then they start to scale and they get more staff and so on, and they put more staff in the office dealing with the customers rather than the personal touch themselves. no matter how big we get, I think we should always have some personal connection. The business owner, directors should have a personal touch with the customers at some point, at least every year, if not several times a year. Often companies misjudge customer expectations. They think, oh, let's put a customer experience strategy in place here. They build it themselves without asking the customer what they want, or overcomplicated processes. One of the ones that I've seen recently is where it's funny, a very high-end restaurant in Dublin. I won't name anything, but a high-end restaurant in Dublin. And when you go onto their website, there's a phone number in your face. You can see it straight away. Call us for a booking. The funny thing is when you call it for a booking, it says, please go to www. because we don't take phone bookings.
That's a clear example of someone who hasn't done the customer journey. So when a customer lands on my page, what do they ask them to do?
Yeah.
So one of the questions that I had was the role of the human connection in the sales process. So obviously you were just saying that it is a big role still even if it's in a digitalized world.
Well, I think it's certainly the human role gets better attention. I suppose we need to foster loyalty and build a relationship with a customer. If I want to keep a customer for a long time, I need some sort of relationship. And I know when you get bigger and scale up, that can be sometimes challenging. But we do need, it can't just be automation. And it can't be, I suppose one of the ones I often think about in this is that insurance companies, we insure our car, we insure our house through an insurance broker or something like that. We insure it on the 1st of March, we pay our insurance premium, and then we don't hear from them until the 1st of February next year. There's no touch point in between. In that 11 months before the renewal starts to come due again, maybe you've met another insurance broker, or maybe somebody's done some really good marketing to you and you're forgotten about because basically we bought the product and that's the end of that, So
there is no relationship with the organization. There is no loyalty with the brand. There is no reason why I should stay with you.
Yeah.
Because actually, I talked to you when just to renew. So, and it was, I was talking one day with the gym, the same, you register 1 year membership, cash in, great. I said, but if nobody in the first month actually contact those new members, even if they pay 1 year, they will not pay the second year. You need to get them coming. You need to 3 months. We have seen that you are not being here in 3 weeks. Are you injured? So what's going on? So that is gonna bring them. And then obviously, if you want to renew them, it's gonna be a lot easier instead of actually having to try to renew them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm conscious of the time, and I have just 2 questions. One, if a business could only fix one thing this quarter to improve the customer experience, what should it be?
Reducing customer friction. Sorry, not fiction. Friction. To reduce customer friction is one thing that everybody should look at. And that could be anything from potential customers who may send you a web form, or who may link with you through social media, or who may pick up the phone and phone your business, whatever it is, through to they want to buy the product and you need to send them a proposal if you're in services or something like that, is that we reduce the friction on that. And we have systems for that. So we call it the customer effort score, CES. So we can actually measure that by again doing surveys, mystery shopping and so on. And we can find out what the customer effort score is and then help to reduce that friction.
That's good. So, and friction, it refers to any element within the conversation with the customer, digital or whatever, as Eddie said, that limit or somehow put a little bit of barrier with the customer and your company. As Eddie said, if you put a link in Instagram and you say, click here, and then you click and it's broken, doesn't take me anywhere, that's friction. Yes. So it's not big things. It could be big things, but it doesn't need to. And it is everything that basically put a barrier between the customer and your business. So Eddie, we have covered so much and I try not to run, but so can you give us 3 key takeaways that everyone should take with them today?
3 key takeaways. Don't assume, listen. Do we listen to the voice of our customer? And when customers give us feedback, do we take action on that? And okay, when customers give us feedback, they're not always right. Despite what we've heard through our lives, the customer is always right. That's not typically so. So again,
first.
Sorry?
The customer is always first.
The customer is always first, not always right. But at the same time, we do have to listen to them and take their feedback on board and action anything that needs to be actioned and action it fairly quickly. And again, if we get direct feedback from a customer and they say, this would have been better, and we do change it, we should go back to that customer and say, thank you very much for giving us that feedback. By the way, you'll notice we've actually taken action on that, and that's going to make them feel really good. And again, good retention from them. The second one is businesses should actively look for feedback. A lot of people, I have had people say to me, I'd say, for example, Google reviews are very good for SEO on websites and so on, and they're very good for getting new clients and so on. And I've said to people, you've got no Google reviews on your business. No, we don't want that. What if people put up bad ones? Well, we do have an instant insight platform where we can actually filter good and bad. The good goes to Google reviews or wherever you want to go. The bad goes to your email. And then you can follow up and action it. And sometimes, I know there's a book, it's a while since I read it now, but Love Your Haters. So if you've got people that give you bad feedback and you action it, and you put it right as quickly as possible with as little friction as possible, that they will become a lover of your company, and because they will respect what you've done for them. So don't be complacent. Get out there, ask for feedback, and then action that feedback if possible. And the last one then, I'm going to give everyone that's listening here a task today. The task today is to set an alarm on your phone for 8 p.m. this evening. At 8 p.m. this evening, this is always a really good one because we get fantastic feedback on this. At 8 p.m. this evening, go onto your website, have a look over it, and send yourself a form from the Contact Us page and see what happens. Because often websites are built 3 or 4 years ago and they haven't been tested since. And you'll find some of those forms are broken, or they go to somebody who doesn't forward them on to somebody else. So try that. And the second one for 8 p.m. this evening, call your office and see what your answer machine says, if it works at all. Because again, we've got so many instances when we're doing the mystery shopping that we make out of hours phone calls to find answer machines are broken, or the machine is full. Sorry, you can't leave any more messages. The memory is full, and the office don't know this. Or you're phoning in June or July and the Christmas message is still on it. So again, 8 p.m. this evening, put it in your phones, test your website and test your office phone.
Thank you very much, Eddie. So where people can find you?
LinkedIn. Best place to find me is LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah. So I will, so everybody register. I will send a link, an email with the link to Eddie's LinkedIn, that you can find it. I really appreciate your time, Eddie. Thank you very much for all this information. Our next session is on the 27th of May. It's the last session of this year. And we will talk about streamline sales and impress your customers. So follow up of this session, we will actually, I'm talking with Gosia Fitzgerald, that she will give us tools in how we can actually action the follow-up and make our life easy. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Suzanne. Love the opportunity.
Thank you.